Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Beastmen led by Martinius facing off against the Tomb Kings, who shall be helmed by Hitman Hippo here on Borderlow Landing. And it looks like it is going to be Malagor and Arkin the Black, so two evil wizard characters. Arkin pretty good against Beastmen, Spirit Leech and Buna, both very solid spells, especially with the popularity of the Centaurs of Tzeentch. Having a nice Buna to just nail them down before they can do a lot of damage. Very good. And also Spirit Leech good against Beastmen Lords in general. And as far as old Malagor goes, Flock of Doom is just always a good spell. If you're going to be using Flock of Doom on the hordes of skeleton infantry, whatever, it's going to do work. Now for the Beastmen army in the front here, it is going to be Zangors. Zangors are solid because they do have silver shields, which is relevant against some of the missile fire that Tomb Kings can bring. But they just are able to get through skeletons very effectively. They hit hard, they have a decent amount of armor, good leadership, a very solid core piece in this matchup. So it is going to be two Zangors backed up by Gorehordes with shields, great killing power in tandem with durability, and in the secondary it's going to be Ungor Raiders. You pretty much never leave home without Ungor Raiders as the Beastmen. Even though, they don't have big armor piercing or great range, there's something about their ability to sneak up, have stock, and just kind of focus down big targets over a long game that just, I don't know what it is, but they do work. So Malagor, Flock of Doom, and the Enfeebling Foe. We do have Centaurs of Tzeentch on the flanks, going to be trying to press and push back the forces of the Tomb Kings off the side objectives, perhaps. And that's pretty much it for the opening army. Now, looking at the forces of the Tomb Kings of Nehekhara, it's going to be Skeleton Horsemen Archers. So we got two of those units, and the rest of the core army is going to be a combination of Nehekhara Warriors, a couple Skeleton Archers here, Eyes of the Desert, which are always nice against Minotaurs or any big threats that the Beastmen might bring to bear, but typically it's just kind of a counterattack against Minotaurs. And Arkin, Spirit Leech, Buna, and Doom and Darkness with the Screaming Skull Catapult, which is one of my favorite combos in tabletop, actually. In tabletop, catapults also lower the leadership of their targets, and then you can use other magic to really make them super susceptible, and a bit of a tongue twister, try saying that fast, against terror checks and things like that. So very good. So Malagor going to be getting slapped with the Spirit Leech right there, and he is going to be on the run, but he should be able to hide in the bushes and pop out and use his magic when he needs to. And on the side, we do see a little bit of pressure coming in from the Beastmen. Martinius going to be getting extra sneaky, and he has his Gors here. Now, these are the very killy Gorehordes. These guys have anti-infantry, 42 weapon strength. They will massacre pretty much any skeleton infantry unit, with the exception, of course, when you go up to the quality of Tomb Guard. I feel like a sword and board Tomb Guard would beat them, but it would probably be not the best trade in the world, considering the dual-wielding Gors are quite a bit cheaper. So here we see the catapult singing home, getting these Zangor shields down. So far, a decent little trade here for Hitman Hippo. But he's going to be on the defense, certainly playing very cautiously. We do see the Tomb Kings were able to get their side objective, basically just parking one Skeleton Archer here, and they're now going to be leaving, probably thinking that objective is safe, and that is when maybe Martinius is going to be popping out of the bushes. The true Beastmen plays, we'll have to see. On the backside, there is some Centaurs of Tzeentch. Now, of course, Nehekhara Horsemen can put up an okay fight against them, but overall that is going to be a losing fight. You'll need a little bit more, and I think that maybe Hitman Hippo is expecting this with the way that he has postured his Eyes of the Desert. He kind of saw that coming. You saw they were in that position before they came out of the bushes, and probably going to be seeing a Fate of Buna going down on these guys. It's just too cost effective, and Centaurs of Tzeentch are honestly one of the better units on the entire roster. Extremely powerful for some reason, despite kind of a strange stat line. But yeah, they're forced back here. Centaur is going to be running. Now the back objective is going to be stolen. We do see the Gorehordes and the Centaurs moving out. And what is the response going to be from the Tomb Kings? I would wager that the Tomb Kings maybe grab some Nehekhara Warriors and some Skeletons and send them over here to assist these guys. But yeah, they're going to need to get over there quickly. You really don't want to let the Beastmen have these objectives for too long because they're really fast and can play the objectives aggressively. And you see the Skeleton Horsemen trying to mitigate the cap speed, but ultimately a bit of a lapse in micro here, and Martinius is going to be buttering some bread, and these Skeleton Horsemen are going to be taken to Pound Town by the Centaurs pretty hard, but I don't know, maybe he willfully sacrificed them to try and buy time on the objective. I'm not 100% sure. So Centaurs looks like they're going to be charging into Tomb Guard here. As far as the objective goes, the Tomb King's trying to soften them up a little bit with the catapults before they do move in, but I don't know if that's going to work out. I would like to see these Skeleton Archers also get up and get in range a little bit. And in the backfield, we do see these Skeleton Archers getting karate chopped by the Centaurs here, and now we see these Skeletons trying to intercept while a little bit of crossfire comes in. That will do some respectable damage. And now that the Centaurs of Tzeentch have fully committed to the fight, charging in infantry, they are going to get slapped with the Fate of Buna and also peppered by basic Skeleton Archers. So that Fate of Buna is going to be doing pretty lethal damage. And this is a spell that has been nerfed probably 5 or 6 times since Warhammer 1. In Warhammer 1, that spell cost I think it was like 10 or 11 wins of magic, and it literally did like 50% more damage. It was so busted. But we have come a long way. Man, that was like 2016, 2017. Time flies, doesn't it? We're still here doing the old Warhammer. So moving up is going to be the Tomb Guard Legion. We see Skeleton Spears. We do also see the Skeleton Warriors getting ready to hustle, catapult, shooting in. And they do almost break the leadership of the Gores, but it looks like they are going to be able to connect, which will help them once they start winning a fight. But we'll have to see if they actually make it. That artillery fire is pretty devastating. And these are Tomb Guard infantry. Tomb Guard pretty solid. I wish they were a little bit better in old tabletop. Elite infantry in general in tabletop are a little bit on the subpar side, which is disappointing. But yeah, Tomb Guard, as far as elite infantry goes in tabletop, Tomb Kings are a faction that can kind of pull it off because they do have the ability to resurrect their elite infantry when they get nuked and, focus fired. So that is pretty damn nice. So very, very slow push here by the Tomb Kings. As far as the back objective goes, it looks like it is owned by the Beastmen. So the Beastmen are going to be sitting on this point, and it is not going to be easy to get them off because Gore Herds typically trade so well into Tomb King's infantry. There would need to be some Tomb Guard and probably a melee Shopti unit coming in would be very nice as well if he does have some in reserve. However, the catapult will do a decent job at wearing them down over time. But yeah, melee Shopti would be quite excellent against those Gore infantry. We're not seeing any Minotaurs out yet. Nope, we do see Minotaurs with Grey Opens. Preemptively called out to probably deal with the old Shopti if they do come out. Spirit Leech going down from Ark of the Black, going to be trying to cut the head off the snake of the Beastmen army. And certainly not a bad idea. The Beastmen don't have the best leadership. I mean, they have a couple units that are very stalwart, but overall, they're kind of fall into that category of greenskin, style where they have low leadership. And if you do cut the head off the snake, it really, really suffers. So back on objective 3, we do see the Beastmen holding this one down. Catapults trying to help a little bit. But it's going to take the Tomb Guard quite some time as we do see these Skeleton Warriors getting annihilated. The other Gore Herds going to be moving in combat, and this is the big epicenter of action. Perhaps a bit of a mistake here sending the Minotaurs into combat. I don't know why you would send them in against the Tomb Guard, especially when there's just so many layers of archers here, and the archers are just going to give them the business. You can see the Minotaurs getting peppered by the arrows of Asaf. And Tomb Kings and Tabletop are actually one of the best shooting armies in the game, in my opinion, between these Skeletons and the Ushapti, who can never have their hit modified, so they always hit on their base value, which is really good. So even if they're firing at long range, they can move and shoot and not take any penalties. It's really, really cool. So having like a legion of skeleton archers and Ushapti great bows and tabletops is a pretty fun strategy for sure, even though shooting is a little bit tricky to pull off in the old world. So the middle objective is going to be flipping here, but the Beastmen are very, very far ahead on points, and it looks like they just barely stabilize it, calling in some Centaurs of Tzeentch, and also getting some of the Ungor Raiders and the Minotaurs rallied up in the point. Minotaurs still have 13 of their 16 models, so still can be functional. And the Raiders able to return the favor. Skeleton Archers, not the tankiest of unit, and these little haggard Ungor Raiders are able to get the job done and do some heavy damage. Now, looking at the back objective, the Tomb Guard are making a little bit of progress, but they're trading very poorly into the Gores here. And it looks like, yeah, big damage on those Tomb Guard right there, as they do get rear charged by these Centaurs of Tzeentch. You can see this kind of conga line here. The Nehekara Horsemen trying to fight them off, doing their best, but overall, this is going to be a favored engagement here for the forces of the Beastmen, despite these Nehekara Horsemen coming in. I think that the Beastmen are going to be winning this fight, and that's really going to be putting the Tomb Kings into a precarious position. Although in the middle, we see Spirit Leech going down. Hitman Hippo is up in value, so he is value trading well, but the objectives are really, really not playing in his favor right now. And now one of the few decent chariots in the entire game, Skeleton Chariots. Chariots in general are kind of a bad unit, but I think that Skeleton Chariots, due to the fact that they have 12 models in their unit, seem to actually do substantial impact damage, whereas the more elite chariots that have like, 3 models like Chaos Chariots and, Gore Beast Chariots seem to be kind of, a bit of a limp wiener here. But these Skeleton Chariots, they do a bit of work. I mean, they're very squishy. Despite having 80 armor, I find that they die very, very quickly. But yeah, they're good at clearing out light troopers. Like in the mid-game, calling them out to deal with Beastmen infantry, I think is quite excellent. You could really see, like, in the epicenter of the battlefield here, the Tomb Kings are starting to take charge of this game in terms of the overall value trading and the momentum. I mean, they've cleared off most of the Beastmen here. These Beastmen infantry are going to be crushed by the chariots of Settra here as they do move in, although Ark in the Black is leading this army. So, not Settra's army, Nagash, whatever. It's all in the family, right? But chariots do get in, roll over some of those infantry. Probably going to be seeing breaks here. We do see Malagor the Dark Omen playing a bit of a dangerous game, landing here on the ground. On the backside, objective number 3, it is going to be firmly controlled here by the Beastmen still. The Centaurs of Tzeentch and the basic Centaurs of Grey Opens and regular Centaurs are holding that one down very well. So Hitman Hippo is going to need to allocate quite a bit to get this back. Probably sending over like 2 or 3 full infantry units of like decent quality to get that, because it ain't going to be easy. As far as the back objective goes, Beastmen are not really controlling objective 1. It looks like Hitman Hippo is going to continue focus on value trading, and if he's able to get Malagor here, that would be a huge win. You would start to see the Beastmen folding up all over the battlefield, right? And Beastmen are also a faction that really love their Frenzy. Frenzy is a mechanic which is dependent on your leadership, so if your leadership is dropping, your unit's combat prowess is going to be dropping as well. And Malagor down to 200 HP. Okay, he should be dead now. If Ark in the Black does have a Spirit Leech in the back pocket, I mean, he's got to be shattering right now. He's so beat up, 239 HP. Okay, got to get those Sepulchral Stalkers on him. Oh no, he misses the opportunity. The Sepulchral Stalkers should have turned around and popped him right in the face. That would have been huge damage and would have been a huge leadership penalty. I mean, there's a chance he rallies. on the edge of the battlefield since he wasn't sniped there. What a substantial blunder for sure, but it might not be a game decider. We'll have to see. So on the back objective, Beastmen still laughing all the way to the bank. Happy mooing sounds are afoot. Skeleton Warriors and Nehekar Warriors on their way over. Meanwhile, in the middle objective, Beastmen, despite being very, very down in value, do a pretty good job holding this one. And Malagor continues running. If he runs off the battlefield, that whole situation there really isn't going to be mattering too much. 239, looks like he probably will be fleeing, but we'll keep tabs on that. Skeleton Chariots doing a bit of work, but they are also shut down to an extent by the Minotaurs with great weapons. And on objective 3 back here, Beastmen are very, very tattered, barely holding on. The Tomb Kings are going to be getting this one back pretty quickly. Probably in the next 2 minutes, but is that going to be enough time? This double cap really is going very, very rapidly. And the middle objective, yeah, looks like Tomb Kings are managing to hold on to that one. And now you can see they're sending Tomb Guard as well as Chariots over towards objective 1, and we're probably going to be seeing a Helm's Deep coming in for the Beastmen now. I mean, they're going to just sacrifice what they can to hold down objective 3, and probably just a Centaur unit with great opens over here, which is going to get crumped. Nice surround, though. Really, really good micro in the clutch here by Martinius. I mean, a surround like this can make a big difference, killing a lot more of these Skeleton Warriors as well as these Nehekar Warriors, but I think that the Undead are going to be enduring right there. We do have some Skeleton Archers nearby who could help out as well, but it is going to be a triple cap situation for sure. Beastmen do have really, really good defense back here. Obviously, most of their units are Vanguard deployment. Oh my god, and Malagor came back. That is huge. Like, so many units, like this, Minotaur unit would be on the cusp of breaking right now. Looking here, you would probably see these Gore Herds breaking. The Centaurs over here would be shaken. They would be broken as well. So there's so many things on the battlefield that would have been just a little bit quicker if Malagor had been finished off. Now, if you're the Tomb Kings player here, you do have Spirit Leech, and if you overcast Spirit Leech, what it does is it extends the range of the ability. So you're going to want to overcast Spirit Leech on Malagor the Dark Omen down here and try and send him running off the battlefield. But alas, Doom and Darkness is going to be used on those Ungor Raiders instead. Although, yeah, the overcasted Spirit Leech would have been very, very good. But I have a feeling that maybe Hitman Hippo has not noticed that your boy Malagor has survived. Tomb Kings pushing up. Looking at the backside objective, they are going to start getting that one back here. They do manage to fully rout the forces of the Beastmen, but man, they need to get this cap very quickly because these horsemen are needed down here. He's going to need all hands on deck to get that back objective. Now, what does he have going back there? No real good quality infantry, but we do have 2 units of Skeleton Chariots, which isn't going to be bad. Could run over these Gore Herds and do some respectable damage. A couple Nehekar Warriors and Skeleton Archers and Tomb Guard with the Liber Mortis, which is going to be giving them Phys Res, trying their best to push up to objective 1, but I don't know if they're going to have enough time. Beastmen just have such good Vanguard units, like their core unit here, the Zangor, which is just such a cost-effective infantry piece, good capture weight as well. Going to get intercepted by the Chariots, immediately have their shields eaten through, but yeah, I mean, if this Minotaur breaks, I mean, that is a lot of capture weight here, right? This is going to be 5, Mount Arkin's going to be 3, Eyes of the Desert pretty good as well. Backside objective, very, very safe, and we have another 15 seconds, and they are going to be getting up to the point. The objective does start to flip, ladies and gentlemen, and that's a pretty heavy flip right there. That one's going. We got 9 seconds, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, a 2, a 1, and it looks like that's going to be a clutch victory for the Beastmen and the Red Horn Tribe. And it did matter, right? That one kill, if he had just finished off Malagor as he was flying over the head of those units, or even overcasted Spirit Leech at the end of the game on him, if he had the mana, I don't know if he did, that would have been GG, and that would have been a Tomb Kings win. So it just goes to show, sometimes at the highest level, little plays like that can make all the difference. But man, Beastmen are really, really strong, and honestly, I would say in the current meta, Beastmen, they must be favored against Tomb Kings. Or favored, play, yeah, they beat the Beastmen, they beat the Tomb Kings more often than they don't. Brains all over the place. It's very late at night. I think it's like 3 or 4 a.m. right now. But taking a look at it, let's see the value. So Malagor did okay. Centaurs of Tzeentch were, kept pretty honest by those Bunas. Minotaurs did all right, but really it just came nothing like performed super well value-wise for the Beastmen. But the Tomb Kings definitely took a beating in the value, took a beating on the objectives, which was very, very hard. Looking at your boy here, 2,300, 2,243, which is mostly from Bunas. And aside from that, we just saw, pretty steady value across the board. Also, he had the big Sphinx in reserve, too. Terror could have actually been decent there, but hard to say. GG, well played. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. We'll see you on the other side, and that is going to be it for tonight.